What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Cyberspaces with Cyberlete. Today, we're going to be going over the bad actor marketplace and how Cyberlete really is the solution to a lot of these problems. We really don't think enough people understand how cheating affects individuals, players, from your average player that plays at home all the way up to the competitive gamers who play in tournaments and leagues. So today we have Jeff and Stolte here, who's going to give us a deep dive through the lens of competitive gamers, software developers, and they're also going to tell us how Cyberlete solves a lot of these problems. So guys, talk to us about the bad actor marketplace.
Oh, it's terrible. It's such a terrible place. It's toxic, and it's only after itself. It consumes its own self. These these people in the bad actor scene, like the cheating scene, pretty much. They'll go to different tournaments or different leagues. They'll create an identity and cheat their way to the grand prize and take money from legit people. And these legit people are putting in 40 to 60 hours a week trying to master their craft, while this guy with cheats on made the game so easy for himself that he just logs in to play these tournaments and he's winning money. And if he gets caught, it's no big deal. You just change your name, go to the next tournament, you're good. Got anything, Jeff?
Yeah, I'd like to add, like it's really crazy in the esports online, like how many people are actually like wall hacking, and they think it's okay. Like they're completely like that it's okay, and that competes like completely like defies what a competitive person, like a sport, a competition, like what it is when somebody's able to just like use some malicious, whether like performance enhancing or like a cheat like this. It's just defeats the competitive scene's purpose. So like, it just needs to be solved. It needs to, there needs to be a way to stop these people from making new accounts, like Stolte had said.
Isn't like 70% of the CSGO people used wall hacks?
It's a ridiculous number. Some of the stats that we ran into through Steam and Counter Strike, it's like 20%. So if you know you're not a cheater, like this is like overall cheating, so 20% not wall hack or anything, like overall. Like if you know you're not a hacker, there's a 20% chance that you're going to go against two of them on the other team because you know you're not, and it's less likely that you're going to have them on your team in Counter Strike because you know you're not. How the odds work with 5 or 10 people, 5-on-5. So it's actually less likely for you to have them on your team, and more likely that you're going to go against 20%. So you're going to have two cheaters pretty much every game, and that's just current stats in Counter Strike, and it's mind-boggling when you know that.
I also want to point out in the bad actor scene, these people who play a game like Overwatch, they'll get to Grandmaster, they'll be a top 500 player, and the game's super easy for them. And then they create a new account, and they get that account to Grandmaster. They create 5 more accounts. Now they have 7 accounts in Grandmasters, and this dude's able to sell these accounts, for $1,000 when Overwatch was popular. And since that's going on in a lot of video gaming, it actually really hurts the scene too, because you have people who shouldn't be at these playing at these caliber like grandmasters at the top of the game. You got to be top 1% to play there, and then you're adding in someone who doesn't know really anything about video gaming into it, and it's really an unfair advantage because you have one guy on your team who doesn't know anything.
Yeah. It's actually very terrible to like be on that side of it, being the teammate who is on a boosted account or a bot account. Like these players they don't know how to peek the angles. They don't know how to use the utility of their games. They don't know how to position themselves correctly. They're not aiming at headshot level. they're walking around the game acting like they just bought the game, but they're grandmaster. It's just not fair. Adam, and then my phone keeps on. My phone keeps
Oh, there he
messing up.
is. Welcome back. So the question I was asking was, so I'm not sure if the audience really knows how big these some of these prize monies are for these tournaments. So a lot of people's views might be, well, what's the problem with cheating and hacking during a game? I've done it before, but I've seen some crazy numbers when it comes to these tournament prizes. Can you guys go a little deeper into what the actual purse sizes are for some of these larger tournaments, and how it might even be a part of the Olympics?
Yeah. So just like Fortnite just had like 2 years, maybe 3 years ago, Fortnite had $100 million purse tournament. That's $100 million they gave out. So now you're talking about people who are maliciously going in and cheating, and they had a lot of stuff going in there, like a lot of things that happen, and there's a lot of stuff that you can and can't prove. We don't know any better, but the reality is at $100 million, how many people were truly earning that money, and how many people kind of got scammed out of money. Statistics will show eventually. There's other tournaments that are out there that are $100,000 tournaments, $25,000 tournaments, $250,000 tournaments, millions of dollars, like community funded millions of dollars. And we just want to make sure that these people who are amateur and or growing through the scenes that are getting to these tournaments are first playing under verified accounts, so we know that who you are, because we want to know that, like, if you have cheated or you cheated or got caught cheated, we want to know who you were. We want to make it official, and we want to kind of start diminishing that bad actor scene in that sense, because of how big these tournaments are getting in a year to year sense. And that's just thinking about it on a small scale too. These tournaments are only going to get bigger as the world grows, as esports grows.
Wow, that's not a small amount to win, and it just shows that the people who are competing against in these tournaments, these guys probably like practice gaming as if it's like a full-time job. I mean, $100 million
It,
tournament plus like $250,000 tournament. That's life-changing money to some people, you
Correct.
know.
It is life changing money to a lot of people, and it can happen overnight. Like $20,000 is a year's pay to some people, 20, 30,000, and you as a solo player could go out and win that in a tournament for many different various games out there in today's world. And then there's team events that are like a little bit more. The purse is a little bit more higher, so like you'll say 100,000, but you're splitting that between 4 or 5 people, sometimes six, depending on the game. So the reality is making sure that you're not stealing from these players that are actually taking the time, like you said, to learn the skill, to learn their craft, and then all of a sudden none of that matters because they, like, this guy over here is just cheating live at an event. Nobody knows any better because, like, he hit it in his mouse and nobody even checked it, and that's not fair.
Right. This leads into the next part. So it's no secret that in tournaments, there's been some controversy in how players are getting paid. Talk to us about how you guys are utilizing smart contracts, which is a big innovation to the gaming industry.
Go for it, Jeff.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
So basically, it's no secret that in tournaments, there's a lot of controversy behind players getting paid. Um, Talk to us about how you guys are utilizing smart contracts, which is a huge innovation in the gaming industry.
Okay. So what we've decided to do is, through smart contracts, we will allow teams, like organizations or players who are teams, when they sign up, they'll be able to essentially have a smart contract that allows them to, like, divvy and pay the players, and then the tournaments will divvy and pay the the tournaments will like have to like they will start an event, and then that will sponsor it, and people will be able to sponsor into that event, like pay the event sponsor, and all the teams that signed up to said event would get their payments. Like once it was done, the tournament was done, the payments would just automatically be sent to the players. So unlike in today's world where people are waiting 6, 7, 8 months, sometimes longer, sometimes a little shorter, to receive their tournament winnings, we're trying to change it to where they're getting it instantly, like right after the tournament is settled. And they don't have to wait for the sponsor money or whatever type of money to come in and wait for these months. We're trying to essentially help pay the players right away and the teams right away instead of just having them wait for so long. Not only does that includes like the broadcasters. There's a lot of broadcasters out there and entertainers like streamers who are broadcasting these tournaments, and they really enjoy like what they do, but they're not getting paid themselves. So like we want to make sure that they're getting paid all at the same time. So nobody's sitting around for 3 to 6 months not paid after their work's already done. We'd like to change that.
How much does it cost developers to on-ramp anti-cheat software? Um, and where is Cyberlete's position in this competitive space?
It can cost developers up to like 250,000
Oh,
or
wow.
more. It's because how they're handling their data. A lot of them are, you know, looking at images and Call of Duty, for instance, they will take screenshots of your gameplay, and then they send that screenshot to their machine learner, and it's looking for wall hacks. It's looking to see if there's any kind of overlay on their screen, and if there is, they'll ban you. But that takes a lot more processing power than the way we're approaching it. And so our fees are going to be quite a bit cheaper because it's not going to cost us as much. But I think it'll be manageable for everyone. We have different tiers. We'll have tiers for 0 to 100 players on your game. That's like a free subscription. But if you have like 1,000 players active, that might cost you a little bit of LEET token. But you just take that LEET token and you stake it in, so you're holding it there.
And another thing too is like a lot of these anti-cheats they're looking at for malicious software in the computer or malicious software. It's very easy to manipulate malicious software, like put it on a cloud or put it here or put it on my refrigerator RAM. There's a lot of things you can do to manipulate where and how that data is sent. So there's a lot of cheats out there it's crazy. And we're looking at it differently than that. We're taking a different scope. We're not going to give too much of the sauce out, but that's just a reality too. Is we're not. Yeah, we're looking at malicious software, but we're not all. That's just not the end all for us.
So not only is it cheaper for these game developers to use Cyberlete, even the players themselves, if they went through Cyberlete, they're guaranteed to get paid right away. They don't have to wait. Geez, 6, 7, 8 months sounds like a long time to get your paycheck from the work that you've done. So I can already see a lot of the advantages that players and developers will get from using Cyberlete. Um, you guys talk about CACAIC. Can you guys explain to the audience what that is?
Yeah, no problem. That's the Cyberlete anti-cheat artificial intelligence cloud. So basically, as you're playing a video game, you're taking 100 snippets of data per second, and we're setting this to the cloud to be processed. Once it's at the cloud, it's being processed, and that's where we determine human versus non-human. The processes are all the user generated. We can even do like the in-game events, such as your recoil in the game or your movement speed. and different variants. Yeah, so that's what it is. It's our artificial intelligence cloud that does all of our machine learning.
Yep. It's just our name for our anti-cheat. Not just. It's what it is at the same time, but it's our name for our anti-cheat.
I see. So you guys are taking the input layer from like the gamers. You guys are sorting out all of this data that's being ran on the hypergraph, and then you guys are filtering that out, and you guys are able to see human versus non-human behavior.
Exactly. So, as the humans at their computer and they're interacting with their mouse and keyboard, we're able to determine if that's human or non-human movement, or if it's assisted movement based on the profiles of the interaction between user input and output.
And
Right. And your guys' AI, it has a really fast reaction time, right? So you guys will be able to catch these things really quickly.
the idea is to get
Exactly.
it as near real time as possible.
Well, how much time do these developers spend on anti-cheat software development, integration that could be spent on game development?
Half the time, like 6 months out of the year, there's working on the anti-cheat part. They have to tie it into their game and find out different ways to block their, they'll have holes in the game where people get in and do the cheating, and they have to go out there and patch that. So yeah, they're spending half their time just on the anti-cheat, and a lot of, and it's not their expertise. They want to build video games. That's what they signed up to do.
Yeah, I would like to add, like, imagine the difference if they didn't have to worry about the cat and mouse side of things. Where it wasn't just like, oh, why would we ban them? Like, why would we do anything about it? Type of scenario in the first place. Like the idea of like non-cheaters, like these game devs. Like, I just can't wait, to be honest with you, just to have them not there.
Nice. I mean, so there was a lot that we learned today from, the different problems that's going on in the industry today to um, the size of the prize money that a lot of these competitive gamers are actually going facing. I didn't know it was that large, but yeah, that adds a different element to this, right? When you're playing for $100,000 or $20,000, or um, purses of that size, and um, the fact that a lot of these guys aren't getting paid right away, and how you guys are changing that by using smart contracts, which is, I'm not sure if it's the first ever in the gaming industry, but it sounds like you guys are sort of pioneering that. Um, is there anything else you guys want to add to the audience before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that these weekly cyberspaces are basically meant to be 15 to 30 minutes long. So we're giving the short answer to a lot of these questions or uh, subjects that we talk about. For more detailed answers, catch us on Discord every other Wednesday. So not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, we'll have a 45-minute to an hour long AMA on Discord, and I'll share my screen and we'll go over some in-depth stuff and answer questions in full detail.
Perfect. And I will be there too. So, yeah, bi-weekly every Wednesday in the Discord. Make sure you guys are there. If you need a link to it, visit the Cyberlete Twitter page, and you can find information on how to find the Cyberlete Discord channel. But happy Monday, guys. Thank you guys for taking the time to join us this morning or evening, wherever you are in the world. But yeah, it's been fun. Thank you guys.